The Dummies brand, simply stated, is a great way to learn. Our reference books take a topic, break it down, make it understandable, help people try it out, learn new things, and ultimately gain confidence with it.
I think to our customers, the ForDummies brand means solutions and an easy way to do something with someone on their side, someone being the brand.
Sometimes I feel like a dummy, because I know that everybody is a dummy somewhere, somehow. But also, I love the concept, to help people to get into a new subject and to enter new arenas.
They're getting a topic that they want to learn, and it's being made easier for them. It's step by step, it's accessible, friendly.
It enables you to do things you have never done before.
Any ForDummies book that I've picked up, whether in any field, is always written in an expert manner. And that's the formula for success they use. They use someone who's expert in his or her field, and then usually someone who can write well.
They definitely have an authoritative voice, and they're understandable, they're easy to use.
It tells you the information, just what you need to know, enough to get on with your life, and it does it with a little bit of humor.
People really love that they can read short paragraphs just about that matters to them right now.
When they see the ForDummies spine, it's like a familiar friend. They know exactly what they're going to expect when they pick up that book. They know the style it's going to be written in. They know what level of expertise the author wrote for, and they'll feel comfortable picking it up.
In a word, it would be integrity. The integrity of the whole package, the information, the legitimacy of the authors, the consistency, as Ed said, the consistency of presentation of material. It's a package with integrity.
This is the first ForDummies book. This is DOS for Dummies. This is the first printing of the first edition. The thing I wanted to see most in there was the humor. The idea was you had people who were baffled and intimidated by technology. They wanted a very helpful guiding hand to tell them what was going on, and the books were going to present that in a lighthearted, humorous manner. I had figured that this book, it would be kind of a novelty. Well, it sold out. That was 3 weeks. And they weren't ready for that. And so it blew me away, because when my editor called me and said, "We need you to do corrections for the reprinting," and I said, "Well, you're reprinting already?" He said, "No, this is the third printing." This actually had, I think, 30 or 40 printings. It was amazing. And of course, when that thing started selling, they came back to me and said, "We want you to write more books."
There was a lot of decision making regarding whether to stay with the word dummies, whether to stay with some sort of alliteration like DOS for Dummies, Windows for Wusses, WordPerfect for Weenies, Macs for Morons, and the decision was really made to stay with the Dummies name. And that was really what kind of made people relate to it. It was a gentle kind of reminder that there's a lot of things that people don't know, and we all feel like that sometimes.
They contacted a lot of other authors and said, "We need to do other books," and they just started growing the series. And then after about 2 years, they started doing non-computer books.
When I heard that the dummy books wanted me to write a book, Sex for Dummies, I said no, because I don't talk or write for dummies. I write for the intelligent reader. But when I looked at Windows for Dummies many years ago, I said, hold it. I will do that. I can talk about all those things about sex that I talk about in short paragraphs. People can read just what they want to read.
One of the neat things about being an author in this series is that you get the interaction with customers. You get letters, you get emails from customers, and it's an important point of feedback, because it gives me as an author and an expert in a subject the opportunity to see what people are thinking about, what they're struggling with, and that it absolutely has a positive impact on the content of all the books that we do.
The whole aspect of Dummies was that you were with the author really as a partnership.
We had to be sure that we were not apart from the reader. We had to be with the reader and drop any pretense, drop the expertise, and get down to earth.
That author was like a companion. You were having a cup of coffee, you were sitting at a table, you were kind of challenged and face this problem together.
I would like to think that the ForDummies brand brings consistency to the reader, so they know that if they've had success with a ForDummies book on a computer topic, that they can go and pick up a ForDummies book on real estate, or on gardening, or on planetary studies, or nuclear physics, and they can get the same kind of information from it, so that there's a real consistency across the brand.
ForDummies initially was treated the way most book properties are, and licensed for translation and book clubs and so forth. But about 5 years into the program in 1996, we did a deal with EMI for Classical Music for Dummies, Enhanced CDs, which was the first of the brand licensing projects. It was both a commercial and critical success. Beethoven for Dummies went, I think, to #2 on the Billboard classical charts. We won a National Homeschool Award for the series, great editorials in Wall Street Journal and elsewhere, and really established the premise that Dummies was not simply going to be a print book offering, but a lot more.
Well, we've done so many licensing products. It's amazing. I actually do love the guitar pack. So it's a guitar that you get with a book, all packed together, and it's been very successful selling in music stores.
It's no longer just books on a bookshelf. We see Dummies everywhere. We see Dummies in grocery stores, we see Dummies on TV, we see Dummies in movies, and we see Dummies anywhere in our walks of life.
You've learned some new moves.
Yeah, well, this guy at work gave me sex for dummies as a joke. Who's laughing now?
I know.
Dummies around the world is a powerful brand. I mean, this is an amazing story.
We have grown to work with 30 publishers outside of the United States who translate our Dummies books into local language so that people who don't speak English can also benefit from what we have to offer in Dummies books.
Creating a publishing brand that thrives in many languages is rare. So if you think not only in English, but in French, German, Korean, Chinese, there are so many places in the world where the Dummies brand is recognized and loved for being accessible, for being how-to that touches anybody, for solving people's problems in a way that's entertaining. And that works everywhere, and there are very, very few publishing brands that that's true for.
You can be in a country like France, and the French history for Dummies, L'Histoire de France pour les Nuls, has something like 1 million copies in print. If I go to France, people think it's a French brand. In many other markets, for 10, 15, almost 20 years now, Dummies is a local brand in their market. So we have created a truly global reference.
I think people welcome the chance to have a trusted resource like this that contains content that's specific to their needs. So we've done books on diabetes that have changed people's lives.
We published a book a few years ago called Cognitive Behavioral Therapy, and it's actually our bestseller ever in the UK. This is a book that helps people out if they are suffering from depression, from anxiety, from panic attacks, and it's actually a book that is prescribed on the National Health Service in the UK. Rather than being prescribed drugs, you are now prescribed our book. That's a pretty good way of helping people's lives.
I remember 20 years ago when the first book was published, I think there were question marks in all marketplaces. I know Barnes & Noble and Borders and all key retailers were saying, I don't know if these books are really going to sell. Well, 20 years later and 200 million books later, I think it's pretty remarkable, the history and the track record of this brand. And the fact of the matter is as strong as ever.
It's been terrific to watch how our team has grown from a relatively small team to a team across the United States and now global teams where we have editorial teams in Russia, Holland, France, Australia, and developing new teams and new publishing programs in places like India and Brazil.
I think everyone who works here at Wiley would agree that it's such a privilege, a unique privilege, to be a part of such a unique publishing phenomenon. Nobody in book publishing around the world has what we have. A brand that's this powerful, this translatable, for which people have so much passion and respect.
I get to be very proud of what I do every day. I get to go home and feel great about the product I market and the campaigns I put together. They actually help people, and a lot of the customer reviews that we've seen over the years and the letters are the most rewarding part of the job.
I think looking forward, we're entering a very exciting time in technology. We're also entering an exciting time in publishing. There'll be new ways and new formats and new digital ways to receive information.
We've been able to move it out of just books. And with Dummies.com and mobile apps and videos, we have brought ForDummies into the digital age.
We are looking forward to developing the Dummies brand and new products to help people throughout the world and into the next 20 years and beyond.
20 years.
20 years.
20 years.
20 years of making everything easier.
ForDummies, 20 years of making everything easier.
Happy 20th anniversary for Dummies.